So there is this movie called The Truman Show, and by no means do I actually recommend wasting your time watching movies and consuming media. However, if you're going to do it anyway, you might as well watch The Truman Show, because it's a good movie to watch at least once in your life. Ever since I first seen it when I was a kid, it always stuck with me, simply because it draws attention to a certain issue that is very important and very relatable. In the movie, the main character, Truman, lives his life thinking that it's a perfectly normal, average life, and nothing's out of the order. However, as it turns out, everything he ever knew was a lie. He lived in a man-made synthetic environment. Everybody he ever knew was an actor, even the sky above him wasn't real, and his whole life was broadcasted through hidden cameras as a TV show. Even his wife was an actor that didn't care about him. His parents weren't his real parents. His father dying when he was a kid didn't actually happen. That was just an actor getting fired from his job, basically. And everything was set up and faked and controlled, simply in order to get some reactions from him so that people can watch him. And this movie always stuck with me, simply because at the end of the day, we cannot truly be sure. It is very hard to know for sure which of the things around us are true and which are lies. What we truly have, the only thing that we truly have, are our own senses and our own experiences. And so many things that people base their whole lives upon nowadays are simply concepts created by other people, stuff that they read about in books or watched through TV, stuff that I can never know for sure are real. When we come into this modern world, we begin our lives. From the start, we are beat down and intimidated by advanced technology that goes way beyond our senses. And we simply assume that the people who create that magnificent high technology that we could never make ourselves know their stuff. So we just take everything that they say, everything that they claim as truth, because people who create such things surely know their stuff. But how can you truly know that the things that they choose to share with you are actually real? You are simply a slave being force-fed a certain narrative, a certain perspective, a certain lens through which to look upon the world. And whether that lens actually is corresponding to reality or not, there is no way that you can confirm that yourself. You cannot know. How can you be sure that atoms exist if you cannot feel them or see them or smell them? How can you tell that Africa is real if you've never been to Africa? And you're telling me that you have been to Africa? Well, how did you get there? Did you go there yourself on your legs, following the directions of the world based on the movements of the heavenly bodies? I doubt that. If you just flew there on a plane, how do you know you weren't in South America or Australia? How do you know that continents look the way that people say that they look, that they depict them on maps? You cannot know. You don't know. You're just a very simple creature who only has your own natural senses to recognize the world, to get to know the world. Everything else is a man-made concept that has been sold to you, that you have been convinced is real. And whether it is or isn't real, well, I don't know, the same way that you don't know. But I simply choose to never believe anything. All that I have are my own experiences and my own senses, and that's the only true way that I can come to know the world. To me, there is no difference between reading a history book and reading something like the Silmarillion. At the end of the day, there is no way to know for sure which one is just made up bullshit and which one is actual factual recording of real events. There's no way that you can know. Because your natural senses will not allow you to. They haven't been made for that purpose. You are here and now, and what happened in history, you have no idea. Nowadays we live wasting away in schools and at work, and in our spare times we do nothing but consume media, and we no longer use our natural senses to know the world. We do not explore, we do not feel, we do not experiment, we do not recognize anything. We have stopped living, we have stopped playing the game of life. And going out there, choosing a direction, and simply walking, and exploring, recognizing the world, that's the only way to know the truth. There is no other. No amount of reading or watching TV is going to teach you anything, because there is no way that you can tell if that's true or not. It could all be lies, all of it. You don't know. And it goes back to the most basic things in life, the most basic simple things. Like, for example, how can you know that animals are made out of flesh and bone if you've never killed an animal yourself? You just go to the store and buy some prepared cut pieces of meat that you have no idea where they came from. How can you tell? You cannot. The most basic possible things like that. The world could be a completely different place than what you have been taught to view it as. Who knows, maybe there are places on this earth where trees grow taller than mountains. Perhaps all trees are supposed to grow taller than mountains, they are just cut down before they get a chance to. How can you know that it's not the case? You don't know. If you just waste away all your life being a slave to the system, not using your own natural senses to play the game of life, you don't know anything. Just think about how many children around the world grow up thinking that something like Santa Claus is real. They believe that a fat man dressed in red goes around every Christmas delivering gifts to every house in the world. Something so completely ridiculous. They believe it simply because they have been told that is the case, and they don't have the intellect to realize that it doesn't make any sense. But a lie akin to the existence of Santa Claus could be anything. Anything that you've ever been told and you have not recognized yourself with your own senses. It all could be a lie. It all could be Santa Claus. And realizing that everything you've ever been taught could be a lie, that's the Truman Show standpoint. Knowing that everything could be set up for one reason or another, and that the only way to know the world is to just go out into it and walk, breathe and eat and exist in nature. That's the only way to know what's real or not. And there's none other. Nothing that you ever read in a book or watch through a TV screen can truly be valid. Because a child convinced that the Jurassic Park is a recording of true events is going to believe that if it doesn't have enough intellect to realize that it's a lie, if it will not go out and discover for itself that there are no dinosaurs, if it's just gonna be a slave sitting in front of a TV screen and nodding at everything it's told, it's never gonna discover the truth. It's always going to believe this lie. And that is everybody nowadays. Everybody believes things. Everybody has faith. I don't have faith. I don't believe anything. All that I know is what I see and feel, what I experience, what I am deep inside, what is my nature. Those are the only things that I truly have. And what I'm told, what people are trying to convince me the world is, what the facts are, well, I can trust it. I can take it into consideration. However, I will never believe it if I do not discover it for myself. And that's the Truman Show standpoint.